Welcome to the African History Network show right here on 910 a.m. the Superstation, the Future Radio. Hey, I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. It is Wednesday, December 16th, 2020, and we are live. It's Wednesday, December 16th, 2020, and we are live. Hope everybody's doing well today. We know we have bad weather that's hitting in different parts of the U.S. and hitting in the Northeast. So hope everyone stays safe. All right. Well, look, we have a jam-packed show today. We're broadcasting on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, The African History Network, and on our YouTube channel, Michael Imhotep, IMHOTEP. So we're going to, one segment we're going to do today is dealing with the topic of a grown man versus a grown male, grown man versus a grown male. You know, we talked about this a little bit on yesterday's show. We ran out of time, didn't have a chance to get to it like I wanted to. So we're going to get to that today. And then also, you know, we have a lot to talk about. I posted this article from NBC News dealing with the Negro Leagues, Negro League Baseball, long overdue. Negro Leagues, now part of Major League Baseball, stats counted in MLB records. So this got shared 11,000 times from our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, got about 4,500 likes. About 3,400 players were part of the 7 leagues that existed from 1920 to 1928. So we'll talk a little bit about this long overdue recognition of the Negro Leagues, Negro League Baseball. Then there was a story out of Chicago. We posted this article Tuesday. Posted this article Tuesday from yahoonews.com. There's also a big one from Washington Post. The story is blown up nationwide. Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot and officials tried to block video of police arresting a naked African-American woman in a botched raid. It was the wrong house. She was in her own house. Just got home from work, changing clothes. She was undressed. She was naked. About 12 officers break down the door, come in, search warrant. They have the wrong house. She's traumatized. Tell them over and over and over again, according to her attorney, it was 43 times she said, you have the wrong house. This story is blown up, gone nationwide. The woman and her attorney were interviewed on the Readout today by Joanne Reed. So we'll talk about that a little bit as well. So this is Chicago, and you know, once again, a story of them trying to keep a video from being released to the public. Washington Post has an article, Chicago officials tried to block video of police arresting naked woman in botched raid. Okay. Her name is Anjanette Young. So we'll talk about that also. April Ryan, White House Correspondent April Ryan, veteran journalist, brilliant sister. She has been signed by Byron Allen to the Griot TV. Byron Allen signs journalist April Ryan as White House correspondent for the Griot TV. We'll talk about that. I met April Ryan back in 2016 at the Congressional Black Caucus legislative weekend in Washington, D.C. I was there on behalf of the Empowerment Radio Network when I was doing nationally syndicated radio, and we had a booth there. So I was there with Bev Smith, and Bev Smith used to be on BET. And shout out to Dave Anderson, also founder of the Empowerment Radio Network. So I talked to Roland Martin when I was there also. And I was guest hosting Roland's show. I can't remember if he was on the network or he came on our network after that, but I used to guest host Roland Martin's nationally syndicated radio show a lot also back in 2016. All right. So another story that we're going to get to, and I posted this article a couple of days ago, but we didn't have a chance to get to this story, so much to talk about. There's a new documentary out about an African-American man named Anthony Crawford. Anthony Crawford. He was a successful African-American businessman in South Carolina, and he was a cotton farmer. He owned a cotton farm. He owned a farm where they grew cotton. He owned a 427 acre farm, And he was lynched in 1916 for his success. African white men were jealous of his success, and he was lynched for being a successful African American man in 1916. This is during World War I, which is 1914, 1918. This is the year before the U.S. actually got involved in World War I. There's a new documentary out that talks about Anthony Crawford, and tells the story of Anthony Crawford and the lynching of Anthony Crawford. So we'll talk about that as well. All right. And then, a couple months ago, I talked about this piece from NBCnews.com, and Washington Post has an article about this either yesterday or today. Nearly 8 million Americans have fallen into poverty since this summer. Nearly 8 million Americans have fallen into poverty since this summer. Okay. So while those in the U.S. House of Representatives, and the U.S. Senate trying to iron out a coronavirus bill, okay, to bail out America, you have, as one person put it, you have people with full bellies making decisions for people with empty bellies. Okay. That's a pretty good way to sum it up. Okay. Because in the U.S. Senate, they make about $174,000 a year. The U.S. senators, they make about $174,000 a year. They're making decisions with people who are about to be evicted and people who stand in food lines. Okay. So nearly 8 million Americans have fallen into poverty since this summer. I wonder how many of these people voted for Donald Trump. I'm just curious. I wonder how many of these people have donated money to this Trump fraud of a campaign trying to overturn the results of a lawful election. I'm just curious. All right. We would talk about that also. All right. So we'll talk about that and more today on the African History Network show. So on the African History Network show, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world, because right knowledge corrects wrong behavior. What you do for yourself, what you do to yourself, and what you allow other people to do to you and get away with is based upon what you think about yourself. What you think about yourself is based upon what you have been taught about yourself. What you've been taught about yourself is based upon everything you've read, heard, and seen about yourself. So when you control the radius of a man's thoughts, you can control the comfort of his actions, because the mind can't do or teach what it doesn't know. Now, we deal with a number of different topics here on the African History Network show. We deal with current events and history and politics, education, economic empowerment, entrepreneurship, relationships, love, sex, health issues, and much, much more. Sign up for our email newsletter. Text the word Kemet, Kemet, to 22828. To sign up for our email newsletter, text the word Kemet, Kemet, to 22828. To sign up for our email newsletter. Also visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. You can sign up for our email newsletter there as well. If you like this type of information, you can donate to the African History Network, $ the AHN Show through Cash App, $ the AHN Show through Cash App. Then also through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN Show, paypal.me/the AHN Show. And then also at our on our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. You can sign up for our, you can donate there as well. So being that we're on 6 days a week instead of 1 day a week, okay, well, for 4 years, we were doing Sundays, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, okay? All right, somebody said good topic. Okay, so shout out to everybody watching us on our Facebook fan page and my personal Facebook fan page, Michael M. Hotep. So let's just go down. Shout out. Thank you, Marnice. How you doing? Thank you. Jeff. How's it going, Jeff? Sherwin, Mike, Jenny, Greg Osborne. Greg has been following me for, I don't know how many years Greg's been following me. All right. So shout out to everybody watching this. Okay. So being that we're here 6 days a week instead of 1 day a week, the donations really help out. It helps us keep doing the research, stay on the air, keep broadcasting, etc. All right. So what we're going to do, okay, we got about 5 minutes before the break. We're going to jump into this segment now. We're going to go to clip 2, Shakita, which is from Sister Circle Live. Okay. DeAndre Whitfield, who we first saw as Robert on the The Cosby Show, Vanessa's boyfriend, her first boyfriend on The Cosby Show. He was on an episode of Sister Circle Live a few months ago. He used to be on TV once, Sister Circle Live. And he talked about manhood. He talked about a book that he wrote. And he talked about the difference between a grown man and a grown male. The difference between a grown man and a grown male. Let's go to this segment here. Let's go to this clip.
That you're doing as you do it. That's out of respect for your partner.
What do you say to men who don't understand exactly what it means to be a man?
Well, it's very difficult. First of all, it's difficult to explain this to what you're probably referring to is what I refer to as grown males. There's a huge difference between being a grown male and being a man.
Somebody ought to shout it.
Right. So every
about that difference.
Okay, so every man that you meet is a male, but not every male that you meet is a man.
Hello,
somebody. So your man, the man that you meet is about his conscious knowing that he has been sent here to be a servant leader. So you all come first. So whenever you come in the room, you don't have to ask a man whether he is a man or not. He will show you who he is based on what he does. So a man comes in the room to say, sister, you need me to get that? Right. I got that. No, put that down. I got that. Grown male walks into the room looking to serve himself first.
A grown male.
A grown male.
I mean, it's a
so a man looks to be of service. A grown male looks to be served.
Oh, my God. Listen, I'm almost got to walk off. I gotta leave. I don't know what else to do. No, seriously. Yes, a lot of women are in relationships with grown males and in marriages with grown males. And then you end up getting divorced because you were in a marriage with a grown male and not a man.
Exactly that. So here's what I want you to think of.
All right.
Think of yourself in a relationship, in a home, in a bed with a boy who is 15 years old, who just took over the body of a 35-year-old male. Mm-hmm. That's really what that equates to. Yes.
Wow.
No.
Iyanla Vanzant said one time, which really resonated with me. She said that sometimes when people go through trauma, whatever age that they're at, they stay there if they don't heal from it.
Yeah,
so in that instance, a lot of our men are lacking this fatherhood that you were speaking of in the break.
That's right.
Could this be what is happening with our men, that they're never really healing from those wounds, from not having the man in their life, and they just carry on throughout life?
His development was arrested at whatever that age was. So he stopped matriculating into manhood at that point.
Yes.
So let me give you an example. I actually cheated in my life in my early 20s because, and I'll never forget this, I actually cheated on, and I'm not going to say who that is to protect those, right? So I actually didn't want to do that. And I was disappointed that I actually did. Mm-hmm. So I began examining why I did that. Mm-hmm. And I'll never forget this. I got to a point, my father was in and out of jail my entire life, right? So without having, my mother did a phenomenal job of introducing me to the principles of manhood. Mm-hmm. But actually walking out manhood is the job of a man. Yeah. My mother can't teach me to be something she's not.
Right.
That's the misconception.
Right.
Your mother cannot teach you how to be a man because she's not a man. Let me give you an example. If you want to become a chef, my mother taught me how to cook. So I'm a man who knows how to cook, but it doesn't make me a chef.
Right.
If I want to be a chef, I got to get under the tutelage of a chef.
Yes.
Okay? Mm-hmm. So my father actually had me, and this was probably at the age of around 11. My father had me in the car, and he said to me, I love your mother. And it made me feel so good because a child just wants to hear that his father loves his mother. But at the very next moment, he looked out the window and whistled to a sister across the street. The messaging that I got from that was you can love a woman, but then be in lust with a bunch of others. So what that taught me was this behavior is okay. If that's good for my father, then that's what I should be doing too.
So at what point did you say, I can't live my life like this? I can't be a cheater. I can't be a deceiver. I can't be someone who's going to betray someone's trust. At what point did that light bulb come on for you?
I'm going to tell you, the moment that it came on in parts. So when I got married, I said, okay, I gotta make sure that I am living my life out in integrity in that space. And then 2 years later, my daughter was born. And I said, ma'am, you are going to be held accountable not only by your wife, not only by God, but your daughter has been sent to you as a living, breathing example of exactly what you are supposed to put into this world. So everything that you want for her, you better deliver to your wife.
And this is over. Yes, it is. Good night.
All right. Pause it right there, Shakita. Pause it right there. All right. 313-778-7600 is the call-in number. We're up against a break. And see, my daughter's 3 years old. So when my daughter was born, when my daughter was born, it did not change how I thought about women one bit. What it did was it confirmed how I thought about women. It reaffirmed how I thought about women when my daughter was born. Okay. But, as I've said before, I think I said this on the show last night, but I posted this a couple of weeks ago, and I posted this again, this clip here. And I said, so I'm a grown man. I'm here to be of service. I'm here to enhance your life, positively add to your life, whereas a grown male is there to be served, to take away from your life. Now, sometimes you have some women who may not be used to that and reject you trying to be of service. Okay, we'll discuss all that on the other side of the break. 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600 is a call-in number. You listen to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM, the Superstation, Future Radio. I'm Michael M. Hotep. We'll be back in a few minutes. All right, everybody, stand by. We're on commercial break. How you doing? Hey, Leah, how you doing, Leah? Okay, 313-778-7600 is the call-in number. We're going to play that clip again also. 313-778-7600 is the call-in number. We're going to get to these other topics also. Don't worry. Okay, we'll get to these other topics. But this is extremely important because I posted this and people were responding to it. I posted the 1 minute clip. The full segment is 8 minutes. So I'm playing what we're hearing here is a larger excerpt of that full 8 minute segment. This is on YouTube. OK, we'll post the clip here also from YouTube so you all can check this out. And we may talk about this on another show. I may bring on some guests. I may do a panel discussion. We may talk about this as well. All right. How's everybody doing? Everybody share this broadcast on your social media platforms. Invite your friends to tune in. Okay, we got Tammy, Rhonda, Marika, Leah. How you doing, Leah? C. Nico, stand by. Everybody stand by. And let me see. We'll post the link here. Oh, it's been a busy day. A nap before the show, overslept. It's been a busy day. Okay, everybody stand by. So how y'all like this topic? Okay, stand by. We'll be back from break in a minute. Welcome back to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM, the Superstation, the Future Radio. Hey, I'm your host, Brother Michael M. Hotep. It is Wednesday, December 16th, 2020, and we are live. Hope everybody's doing well. Calling numbers 313-778-7600, 313-778-7600, is the call-in number if you have a question or comment. 313-778-7000 is the call-in number if you have a question or comment. All right. So right before the break, I was sharing an excerpt here. This is from Sister Circle Live. DeAndre Whitfield, actor DeAndre Whitfield, was on Sister Circle Live, and I'll give you the date of this clip here. Sister Circle Live used to come on Monday through Friday on TV One. Okay, it was on for 3 years. I used to record it every day. So originally they came on right after News One Now with Roland Martin. Then Roland's show got canceled. He created his own network, everything. And I'm on, by the way, I'm on Roland's show, Roland Martin Unfiltered. I'm on every Friday as a panelist. So I'll be on this Friday as well. Friday's going to be busy because I do his show at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I do this show here at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So Friday's busy. But they used to come on right after Roland Martin. So you had Selena Johnson, Rashawn Ali, who has a radio background, Selena Johnson, singer, actress, also Trina Braxton, one of Toni Braxton's sisters, Trina Braxton, and Miss Quad, who's on the reality TV show Married to Medicine. I guess that's what it's called, because I never heard of the show before I saw Miss Quad on there. I didn't know what the hell Married to Medicine was. But anyway, 313-778-7600 is the call-in number if you have a question or comment. Okay. Let's go back to that clip for a couple of minutes, and I'm going to have you cue it back up again, Shakita.
Men who don't understand exactly
to explain this to what you're probably referring to is what I refer to as grown males. There's a huge difference between being a grown male and being a man.
somebody ought to shout it. Right there.
So every
about that difference.
Okay, so every man that you meet is a male, but not every male that you meet is a man.
Hello.
So your man, the man that you meet is about his conscious knowing that he has been sent here to be a servant leader. So you all come first. So whenever you come in the room, you don't have to ask a man whether he is a man or not. He will show you who he is based on what he does. So a man comes in the room to say, sister, you need me to get that?
Right.
I got that. No, put that down. I got that. Grown male walks into the room looking to serve himself first.
A grown male.
A grown male.
So
a man looks to be of service. A grown male looks to be served.
Oh, my God. Listen, I'm almost back to my I can't believe. I don't know what else to do. I need you to, no, seriously. A lot of women are in relationships with grown males and in marriages with grown males. And then you end up getting divorced because you were in a marriage with a grown male and not a man.
Exactly that. So here's what I want you to think of.
All right.
Think of yourself. Think of yourself in a relationship, in a home, in a bed with a boy who is 15 years old, who just took over the body of a 35-year-old male. Mm-hmm. That's really what that equates to. Yes.
Wow.
No. Come on.
Iyanla Vanzant said one time, which really resonated with me. She said that sometimes when people go through trauma, whatever age that they're at, they stay there if they don't heal from it.
Yeah,
so in that instance, a lot of our men are lacking this fatherhood that you were speaking of in the break.
That's right.
Could this be what is happening with our men, that they're never really healing from those wounds, from not having the man in their life, and they just carry on throughout life?
His development was arrested at whatever that age was. So he stopped matriculating into manhood at that point. Yes. So let me give you an example. I actually cheated in my life in my early 20s because, and I'll never forget this, I actually cheated on, and I'm not going to say who that is to protect those, right? So I actually didn't want to do that. And I was disappointed that I actually did. So I began examining why I did that. And I'll never forget this. I got to a point, my father was in and out of jail my entire life, right? So without having, my mother did a phenomenal job of introducing me to the principles of manhood. But actually walking out manhood is the job of a man. My mother can't teach me to be something she's not.
Right.
That's the misconception. Your mother cannot teach you how to be a man because she's not a man. Let me give you an example. If you want to become a chef, my mother taught me how to cook. So I'm a man who knows how to cook, but it doesn't make me a chef. If I want to be a chef, I got to get under the tutelage of a chef. Okay? So my father actually had me, and this was probably at the age of around 11. My father had me in the car, and he said to me, I love your mother. And it made me feel so good because a child just wants to hear that his father loves his mother. But at the very next moment, he looked out the window and whistled to a sister across the street. The messaging that I got from that was, you can love a woman, but then be in lust with a bunch of others. So what that taught me was, this behavior is okay. If that's good for my father, then that's what I'm supposed to be doing too.
So at what point did you say, I can't live my life like this? I can't be a cheater. I can't be a deceiver. I can't be someone who's going to betray someone's trust. At what point did that light bulb come on for you? I'm
going to tell you, the moment that it came on in parts. So when I got married, I said, okay, I gotta make sure that I am living my life out in integrity in that space. And then 2 years later, my daughter was born. And I said, man, you are going to be held accountable not only by your wife, not only by God, but your daughter has been sent to you as a living, breathing example of exactly what you are supposed to put into this world. So everything that you want for her, you better deliver to your wife.
Exactly.
And this is over.
All right, pause it right there, Shakita. Pause it right there. We're going to pick it back up. Don't move from that spot. We're going to pick it back up from there. 313-778-7600 is the call and number if you have a question or comment. So I've been talking about this the past few days. I posted this clip originally. So I saw this when it aired originally on Sister Circle Live. Okay. And the clip's on YouTube, July 31st, 2018. And it kind of went viral. Maybe even more so than that. Let me see how many views they have. Oh, well, they have 408,000 views. So I guess it did go viral. They have 408,000 views. So, and I posted this on my Facebook page 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I posted again a few days ago. And I've been saying we'll talk about this. Okay. So if you have a question or comment, give us a call, 313-778-7600. So do you agree with what this is DeAndre Whitfield, actor, author. So do you agree with what he's saying, the difference between a grown man and a grown male? A grown man is there to be of service first. He's there to serve you. He's there to add to your life positively. A grown male is there to be served. Okay. And this is and when I posted about this, and Offset Isis, I don't know if she's on right now. Offset Isis said this is a good topic as well. And I said, I am a grown man. I am there to be of service, there to help you, there to support you, there to add positively to your life. 313-778-7600. Now, don't everybody get quiet now. 313-778-7600 is the call-in number if you have a question or comment. Let's go to line one. Let's go to Nandi. Line one. Welcome to the African History Network show. Nandi, tell us where you're calling from.
Hi, Brother Imhotep.
Hey, is this Nandi and Nandi's Knowledge Cafe?
Yes, it is.
Okay, how you doing, Nandi?
And I said, I know that voice. I finally got a car that got the 910 station in it.
Oh, yeah.
And I call and say hello to you.
Hey, how you doing, Nandi?
I'm glad to hear your voice.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm on 6 days a week now. So I'm on Monday through Friday, 11 p.m. to 12 midnight. And then still Sundays, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Yeah.
Was there a question tonight? Did I miss the question or the comment?
Well, this segment here, we were talking about the difference between a grown man and a grown male. Did you just hear the clip that we just played?
Oh, I didn't. But you said the differences between a grown
yeah. So a grown man is there to be of service. A grown male is to be serviced. So what you can do is just keep listening, and if you have another question, call back because we'll be here. We're here till midnight. So just keep listening, and if you have another question, call back. But
during the I hope to see you this Kwanzaa holiday season.
Okay.
And do a lecture soon.
Oh, so let people know what you have Kwanzaa going on at your place?
About it.
Hold on, you have Kwanzaa going on at your place?
Yes.
Okay, give people the dates.
Day.
Give people the dates.
It will be every day.
Give people the information.
It will be every day, 26 to the 1st from 2 till 7.
Okay, now where you located? Everybody doesn't know where you're located.
Oh, 71 Oakland Boulevard, Highland Park, Michigan,
okay.
Right near Hamilton. The phone number is 313-865-1288. And I just got in so many beautiful books like A Zooming of a Nation.
Okay.
Everything you could think of. Any books you want to get,
right.
Give me a call. I can get it for you if I don't have it in stock.
Okay, so this is Nandy's Knowledge Cafe. So I've been doing lectures at Nandy's Knowledge Cafe for years. She's at 71 Oakman Avenue in Highland Park, Michigan. But she's also celebrating Kwanzaa. She's going to have a Kwanzaa a celebration each day, December 26th through January 1st. Is 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. 90?
Yes.
Okay, and is it?
And we also have.
Is there a cover charge? Is it free to the public or what?
I'm sorry, we also have open mic. I'm sorry, Michael.
Yeah, is there a charge for the Kwanzaa celebration?
Open mic every Thursday night.
Okay, open mic every Thursday night. Is there a charge for the Kwanzaa celebration?
No.
Okay.
No. We'll run a basket maybe if we need be, but we're gonna have a beautiful time, a beautiful conversation.
Right.
Don't feel like you at home, like it's supposed to be.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Nandi. Keep listening. All right. 3-1.
Right.
Thank you.
Reggae Saturday night at 9.
Okay. Thank you. 313-778-7600 is the call-in number. If you have a question or comment, don't everybody get quiet now. Okay. We got Robert. We've got Willie. How y'all doing? Watching us on Facebook and YouTube. Glenn, Charles, Leah, Shakiti. Cue that clip back up at the 2-minute 8-second mark, and then we're gonna go to clip 1 from the readout, Joanne Reed. Okay, so if you have questions or comments, call in. Now, see, this is very interesting, right? Because all these people are quiet right now, but you ain't quiet on social media. So this is your opportunity to call in now, and nobody wants to call in. I find that interesting. Okay, where the ladies at? Nobody wants to. Nobody wants to comment. Okay. All right. Let's go to this next story. Chicago officials tried to block video of police arresting naked woman in botched raid. Now, it took just a few quick thwacks for police to break down the red door to Anjanette Young's Chicago townhouse, where the 50-year-old hospital social worker was undressing inside and preparing for bed. In an instant, nearly a dozen armed officers swarmed Anjanette Young in February of 2019 and announced a search warrant as she stood naked, terrified, and trying to cover herself with a jacket. Okay. She said, "Oh my God, this cannot be right." She was stunned. You could hear her. So they have body cam footage of this. And she said, "How can this be legal? You've got the wrong house." Now, the footage was first obtained by CBS Channel 2 in Chicago, CBS affiliate Channel 2 in Chicago. And it shows Anjanette Young, who was handcuffed and unclothed for more than 30 minutes as she pleaded with officers, Chicago police officers, that they had raided the wrong home. They had raided the wrong home. More than an hour after police broke down Anjanette Young's door, officers realized she was right. They raided the wrong home. This is like worse than Barney Fife. You know, this is Mayberry. binary arresting the wrong person. This is worse than that. Now, nearly 2 years after the botched raid, emergence of video has Anjanette Young newly hopeful she may finally see some accountability for what happened. But the footage's long, thorny path into public view has Chicago media and city officials in a familiar position of wrestling over transparency and raising questions of how much has changed and whether a new mayoral administration will be different. Just 5 years after the scandal of the Laquan McDonald video cover-up rocked the city of Chicago. On Monday, December 14th, 2020, the city of Chicago filed an emergency motion in federal court to stop CBS Chicago from broadcasting the apparently leaked footage in its Monday broadcast. The city of Chicago argued airing the video violated a confidentiality agreement, but a federal judge denied the motion, ruling the TV station was not a party to the agreement. Upon hearing the city was trying to stop the video from being released, Anjanette Young said she lay in her bed and cried. How dare they want to continue to hide this? Anjanette Young told the Washington Post in an interview on Tuesday, December 15th. We set out for about a year to get what we saw as critical video that would illustrate in an unvarnished way what was taking place, said Jeff Harris, the vice president and news director of CBS 2 in Chicago. Okay. Now, Harris told the Post, Harris told the Washington Post the investigating team was concerned but not deterred by the city's efforts to stop their reporting. Okay, let's go to this clip here from the readout, Joanne Reed. She spoke with Anjanette Young and her attorney on Wednesday, December 16th, 2020. Let's go to this clip.
Young, whose home was wrongly raided by the Chicago police, as well as her lawyer, Keenan Salter. Thank you both for being here. We really, really appreciate you responding to our request to be here. And Ms. Young, first of all, I have to tell you, as I watched that video, all that went through my mind was Breonna Taylor, Breonna Taylor, Breonna Taylor. Like, you hold your breath waiting for the gunshots, unfortunately, because that's the world sort of that we live in when it comes to policing as a Black woman at home alone. I want to make the audience clear that, you wanted those scenes to be shown, right? You wanted this video to be out. Is that correct?
Yes, I absolutely wanted the video to be out because it's been 2 years and my attorney has been fighting with the city about this case and they've done nothing to address it. And so I wanted the video out. I wanted everyone to see just how terrible I was treated in this incident.
And I just want to make that point because a reporter did ask Mayor Lightfoot today, it's very clear that you filed a FOIA request, a Freedom of Information Act request for this video last year, and it was denied. She said, my understanding is something different, but I'll have my folks look at that. That's part of the dispute. Did you file a Freedom of Information request asking for this video?
I absolutely did. And I have the document, and I followed all of the procedures and went to the website and submitted my information. They even responded to me stating that they needed additional time and then responded back saying that they could not provide it to me because it was an ongoing investigation.
Gotcha. So let's just talk about what actually happened. You're home alone. You hear this banging at the door. They burst in. We saw what happened after that. At some point, did you get the sense that these officers who are standing around, a bunch of men standing around you as you're nude, realized that they've screwed up?
I think they realized that they had screwed up, as in that what they were expecting on the other side of that door wasn't what was actually there. But I also don't think that they gave any thought to, now that we're in here and this woman is nude and this is what we have. I don't believe that they gave any thought to adjusting what they were doing to protect me in any type of way.
Right.
The sight of you standing there without your clothes on, and then them sort of throwing a blanket or a coat over you, but not really even paying attention to make sure it stayed up, knowing that this is all being filmed on their body cameras. Can you just convey, because it doesn't seem like these officers understood how humiliating that can feel. Can you just convey how that felt to be in that moment for 30 minutes?
In that very moment, I was terrified. I tell people that I was scared into compliance. I was afraid to move because in that moment, I thought if I did anything out of the ordinary, that they would shoot me. I mean, the guns were pointed and drawn, and I was fearful for my life. And I actually thought that if I made any type of wrong move, that they would shoot me. So to, have them standing there, kind of ignore me as a person, I don't think that they cared that their body cam was recording that I was nude. It didn't feel like any man in there cared anything about me as a woman or a female. They didn't even view me as in this could be my mom or my sister or my cousin or any female that they cared about. They didn't care about what was happening to me.
Early voting in the Georgia runoff.
Okay. So that was an excerpt of the interview that Joy Reid did Wednesday, December 16th, 2020 with Anjanette Young and her attorney. Now, Mayor Lori Lightfoot has apologized on Wednesday, December 16th. Chicago Sun-Times has an article. Lightfoot apologizes for botched police raid. Quote, I am deeply sorry and troubled that her home was invaded and that she had to face the humiliation and trauma that she suffered, end quote, the mayor said of the raid on the home of Anjanette Young. That is just not right. It simply should not have happened. Now, a shaken and furious Mayor Lori Lightfoot on Wednesday, December 16th, apologized to Anjanette Young for the botched police raid on the wrong house that humiliated an innocent woman and prompted police officers to handcuff her while she was naked. The mayor's apology came on a day that also saw an outraged Anjanette Young speaking outside Chicago Police Department headquarters and members of the city council confronting her over the raid and demanding hearings and investigations. Mayor Lori Lightfoot said she first learned of the appalling February 2019 incident captured on police body cam video. She said that she first learned of the video on Tuesday, December 15th, when WBBM TV Channel 2 in Chicago aired the video as part of its extensive reporting on botched police raids, Now, that's also when she learned about the actions that her own law department had taken to prevent Channel 2 from airing the video. Now, Mayor Lori Lightfoot said her voice was hoarse because she has been reading the Riot Act to Corporation Counsel Mark Flessner, Flessner, and Chicago Police Department brass ever since. Mayor Lori Lightfoot said, I made it very clear to the Corporation Counsel that I will not be blindsided by issues like this. She went on to say, filing a motion against a media outlet to prevent something from being published is something that should rarely, if ever, happen. And had I been advised that this was in the works, I would have stopped it in its tracks. This is not how we operate, period. Now, this reporting from Chicago Sun-Times is dated 5:31 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, even more infuriating, we'll go to the phone lines in just a minute here. Even more infuriating infuriating to the mayor is what happened to Anjanette Young. She said, I watched that video in absolute horror. I showed it to she's married to a woman. So people that don't know, so you don't think I'm misreading this. She said, I showed it to my wife. We both thought about what could happen to us if we were in her circumstance, Mayor Lori Lightfoot said. If you can hear that my voice is hoarse, it is because I have been unsparing in my comments to all involved in the colossal mess. I don't expect that to ever happen again. And should it, then I won't hesitate to take action, end quote. Now, she went on to say, quote, I want to tell Miss Young that I am very deeply sorry and troubled that her home was invaded and that she had to face the humiliation and trauma that she suffered. That is just not right. It simply should not have happened. And I will make sure that there is full accountability for what took place, end quote. Now, Mayor Lori Lightfoot openly acknowledged Anjanette Young is, quote, not the first or only person whose home was breached on the basis of wrong information. And the mayor went on to say, and the mayor says she, quote, cannot and will not ignore the fact that this happens to Black and brown people disproportionately. OK, now that is why the piece from Chicago Sun-Times goes on to say that is why wholesale changes were made to the search warrant policy earlier this year and why more changes could be on the way. Now, in reading another piece about this and hearing reporting on this today, they were given the wrong address by an informant. The address they were actually looking for was the address next door to them, or the apartment next door to them. They were going after a suspect. They were looking for a gun, ammunition, and something else. The person they wanted, it was actually the address next door to Anjanette Young. Okay, so they broke into the wrong house. They were given the wrong information. Also, it appears by an informant. All right, let's go quickly to the phone lines. Let's go to Charles, line 1. Charles, welcome to the African History Network show. Tell us where you're calling from. We only got about a minute.
I'm calling from Detroit.
Okay, from Detroit.
Hotel.
Okay.
I was responding to that difference between a grown male and a grown man.
Yes.
And that sounds like it'd be nice to have a biologist coach on the show there to do a thing, on biology in those terms, as far as male and a man. But I was taught that, coming up through years, my dad and my mom was always there. But like the point is, to me, the way I was taught that a man is mind, M-I-N-D. You got M-A-N, then you got M-I-N-D, mind.
Mind, okay.
The man over mind.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you got the woman. The woman has a womb.
Right.
She also has a mind.
Okay.
What makes woman, and it's just dialects, language, and interpretation, of what's being translated when it comes to language and understanding what's going on, with the language and the swag or whatever, however,
Okay.
And so that's pretty much what I understand when it comes to the difference between a man and a male.
Okay. All right, Charles.
A male, female.
Okay. All right. We got to run. Thanks for calling, man. Thanks for calling. Keep listening.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right. Check out this article from the Washington Post from December 16th, 2020. Chicago officials tried to block video of police arresting naked woman in botched raid. If we look at page 2 of the article from the Washington Post, it says, according to Anjanette Young's 2019 lawsuit against the police department, a confidential informant told police the suspect they were seeking lived at Anjanette Young's address. Okay. The man actually resided at a nearby address, which Attorney Salter said would have been simple to verify since the man was already under electronic monitoring by the Illinois Department of Corrections. So the suspect that they were seeking was already being monitored. From my understanding, he was wearing a tether. He was already being monitored, already under electronic monitoring by the Illinois Department of Corrections. The confidential informant told police that the suspect they were looking for lived at Anjanette Young's address, but that was not correct. The man actually resided at a nearby address. Okay, from the interview I saw with the attorney, it was like the next door. That's where the person they were actually looking for lived. The failure led to police breaking down Anjanette Young's door and handcuffing her while she was naked, leaving her both humiliated and afraid for her life. All right, so check that out. Check out the piece from Chicago Sun-Times. Lightfoot apologizes for botched police raid. So we may talk about this tomorrow if there's some updates. How much time we have left, Shakita? Let me see here. Okay, then we have. We're going to continue this discussion on our social media platforms. We're going, if you're watching us on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, The African History Network, and our YouTube channel, Michael M. Hotep, IMHOTEP. Keep watching because we're going to continue. We're out of time here on 9 10 a.m. the Superstation, the Future Radio. We're here Monday through Friday, 11 p.m. to 12 midnight Eastern Standard Time. You can donate to the African History Network, $ the AHN Show through Cash App, $ the AHN Show through Cash App, and through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN Show, paypal.me/the AHN Show, and also at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Click on the yellow donate button. We're going to talk about this story here dealing with the Negro Leagues in Major League Baseball. Long overdue Negro Leagues now part of Major League Baseball. Stats counted in Major League records. Okay, we'll talk about that. Also, and we'll deal with this documentary dealing with the lynching of a successful African-American businessman in 1916 named Anthony Crawford. All right. Thanks for tuning in to the African History Network show. Remember, right now, it's correct wrong behavior is not over till we win. Wakanda forever. Stay tuned for Greg Davis, and we'll talk to you tomorrow night. Peace. Okay. Stand by, everybody. Stand by. Let me disconnect from the radio station. Let's continue. I thought we would have more people calling in tonight. Imagine that. I just can't figure it out. Okay. People afraid to call in. All right. So let's continue here. So this is a big story from NBC News today. Well, this is a big story, period. NBC News was one of the first to pick up this story dealing with the Negro Leagues in Major League Baseball. Saw one from Washington Post, CBS News, but the first one I saw was from NBC News. So we posted this article. It was shared like 11,000 times from our Facebook fan page, The African History Network. We got about 4,500 likes. Long overdue Negro Leagues, now part of Major League Baseball. Stats counted in Major League Baseball records. Okay, stats counted in Major League Baseball records. So this is a piece by David K. Lee for NBC News. Now, Major League Baseball on Wednesday announced that records of Negro League players will be included in the game's official statistics. Okay, will be included in the game's official statistics in a long overdue recognition. Before Jackie Robinson broke professional baseball's race barrier with the Brooklyn Dodgers in 1947, African-American players were barred from Major League Baseball, playing in Major League Baseball, depriving many baseball fans from seeing some of the best hitters, pitchers, and fielders of the 20th century. Now, it's important to note that was what's known as a gentleman's agreement, that the white owners of the teams would not allow African Americans to play on the teams. Okay, that was what's known as a gentleman's agreement, but it was not something that was written. It was not something that was it was not a written policy in Major League Baseball. It was a gentleman's agreement. And if you were Cuban, you could be a dark-skinned Cuban. You could play in Major League Baseball. Okay? If you were a dark-skinned Cuban, you could play in Major League Baseball. Now, Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred said in a statement, quote, "All of us who love baseball have long known that the Negro Leagues produce many of our game's best players, innovations, and triumph against a backdrop of injustice. We are now grateful to count the players of the Negro Leagues where they belong as major leaguers within the official historical record. Now, the records and stats of 3,400 players who competed in 7 leagues for players between 1920 and 1948 will be included in Major League Baseball records," officials said. Quote, "For historical merit, today is extraordinarily important. Having been around so many of the Negro League players, they never looked to Major League Baseball to invalidate them." Quote, Negro Leagues Baseball Museum President Bob Kendrick said in a statement, quote, but for fans and for historical sake, this is significant. It really is," end quote. The 7 leagues that will now be included in official records are the original Negro National League, 1920 to 1931, the Eastern Colored League, 1923 to 1928, the American Negro League, 1929, the East-West League, 1932, the Negro Southern League, 1932, the Second Negro National League, 1938 to 1948, and the Negro American League, 1937 to 1948. The Negro Leagues of 1920 to 1948 produced some of the greatest players in the sport's history, including 32 Hall of Famers, names such as Jackie Robinson, Willie Mays, and Roy Campanella, Satchel Paige, Monty Irvin, Josh Gibson, James Thomas Cool Papa Bell, and Major League Baseball's second African-American player, Larry Doby. Now, Frank Grant, a 19th century second baseman, and Negro League executive Rube Foster are also enshrined in Cooperstown. Okay, also enshrined in Cooperstown. And let me look. Okay, quote, we couldn't be more thrilled by the recognition of the significance of the Negro Leagues in Major League Baseball, said Edward Schauder, Schauder, legal representative for Josh Gibson's estate and co-founder of the Negro Leagues Players Association. He went on to say Josh Gibson was a legend who would have certainly been a top player in the major leagues if he had been allowed to play. Now, the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum in Kansas City posted on Twitter on Wednesday, December 16th. They said, "For historical merit, today it is extraordinarily important. Having been around so many of the Negro League players, they never looked to Major League Baseball to validate them. But for fans and for historical sake, this is significant. It really is." Now, Major League Baseball is now comprised of 2 leagues. The National League, founded in 1876, and the American League, which began play in 1901. Their champions have met in the World Series in almost every October since 1903. And along the way, several other upstart leagues have challenged the American League and the National League without lasting success. Okay, so check out the rest of this article here from NBCnews.com. Long overdue. Negro Leagues now part of Major League Baseball. Stats counted in Major League Baseball records. Stats counted in Major League Baseball records. Okay. All right. How's everybody doing? Everybody share this broadcasting on social media platforms. Invite your friends to tune in also. African-American business owners, post the name of your business here on the thread of the broadcast. We'll let you know how you can advertise with the African History Network. Email us at customerservice@africanhistorynetwork.com. Customerservice@africanhistorynetwork.com. We'll let you know how you can advertise with the African History Network. Now, a lot of people want to learn more about the stock market, create generational wealth. TheProfitRoom.com can help you with this. TheProfitRoom.com is a stock market trading and education company that has mentorship programs that are designed for beginners. They teach individuals how to create generational wealth through trading and investing in the financial markets. They specialize in day trading and one-on-one mentorship. Okay. But they also teach about stocks, options, futures, and the foreign exchange markets. Visit their website, theprofitroom.com, theprofitroom.com, for more information and to find out about upcoming classes. And also, you may have seen the article that blacknews.com did on them as well. Visit their website, theprofitroom.com. Let them know you found out about this from the African History Network. Okay, let's continue here. Okay, so we've got the article from Major League Baseball and the Negro Leagues. Next, there was a Byron Allen, entrepreneur and media mogul Byron Allen, has signed journalist April Ryan as White House correspondent for the Griot TV. So this was really, really good news. Byron Allen is doing some really good things with the Griot, the digital platform, the digital African-American oriented website, news website, lifestyle website, entertainment. The Griot has an article, GRIO. The Griot has an article from December 16th, 2020. Byron Allen signs April Ryan as White House correspondent for the Griot TV. Now, April Ryan, veteran journalist, brilliant sister, has signed with Byron Allen's Allen Media Group to serve as White House correspondent and Washington, D.C. bureau chief for the soon-to-be launched 24/7 broadcast television network, the Griot TV. So there's going to be a broadcast television network, the Griot TV. The company announced Monday morning. All right. Now, so this is broadcast television, not cable. You don't have to have cable to be able to watch this. This is going to be a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week broadcast television network called the Griot TV. This is huge news. April Ryan, who has served as White House correspondent for the last 24 years, has covered 4 U.S. presidents throughout the span of her career. President-elect Joe Biden will be the 5th American president April Ryan has covered. Okay. Now, April Ryan is also a frequent contributor on CNN, and she will begin her new role on January 4th, 2021. I met April Ryan back in 2016 at the Congressional Black Caucus Legislative Weekend. I was there with the Empowerment Radio Network. We had a booth there. We were broadcasting. So it was a good experience there. They also had Dr. Leonard Jeffries was there. Dr. Wade Nobles was there. They had every year for the Congressional Black Caucus Legislative Weekend, they have a panel discussion, a forum dealing with reparations also. So Dr. Jeffries was there for that portion. Quote, award-winning White House correspondent April Ryan is a phenomenal talent and brilliant political analyst, said Byron Allen, founder, chairman, and CEO of Allen Media Group. He said, quote, we are very proud to have April Ryan join our rapidly growing news organization with her vast relationships and experience. Okay, and just 1 second here. Okay, with her vast relationships and experience. Now, the newly rebranded broadcast television network, the Griot TV, or the Griot.tv, is what they're calling it, the Griot.tv, will feature Black-focused content reaching over 100 million U.S. households via over-the-air broadcast television stations, cable, telecom, satellite platforms, and free digital streaming. The network officially launches on January 15th, 2021, during the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday weekend. Oh, that's going to be good. Okay. This is going to be huge right here. I need to see if I can get on there. This is going to be huge right here. The Griot TV. All right. So Byron Allen is doing some big things here. This is phenomenal. So let me see. All right. Yeah, Byron Allen is doing some big things. This is good news. So we need a 24/7 broadcast television station like this that also has news programming. You can have sitcoms, that's cool. You can have lifestyle programs, but you got to have news. You have to have African American oriented news, where because the way that and you have to have African American journalists covering these stories, okay, to deal with these stories and show people how politics, how various stories, climate change, etc., how this impacts the African American community. It's okay. I'm not against having sitcoms, at night or whatever. You're gonna have that, okay? Because it's cool to laugh. Some of this stuff that's going on, you gotta laugh. Hell, I mean, be quite honest with you. I watch Andy Griffith because there's no Black people on Andy Griffith, so I don't have to worry about any of us being shot or killed on the show. So I watch Andy Griffith on TV Land. They have him back to back to back. I watch Andy Griffith. I watch Sanford and Son. So you need that a little bit, but you need the news and the critical programming also. So this will be a 24/7 broadcast television network. The company announced on Monday. The newly rebranded broadcast television network, the Griot.tv, will feature Black-focused content reaching over 100 million U.S. households, okay, via over-the-air broadcast television stations, cable, telecom, satellite platforms, and free digital streaming. The Griot.tv recently added broadcast television station sub-channel distribution with Fox-owned and operated television stations in 11 major markets: New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Philadelphia, Dallas, San Francisco, Houston, Atlanta, Phoenix, Minneapolis, Orlando. These 11 U.S. television markets represent 29.6% of general market households and 36.3% of Black households. Now, the Griot, formerly owned by NBC Universal, the Griot, formerly owned by NBC Universal, was purchased by Byron Allen in 2016 when it had less than 1 million monthly active users. In the summer, that's thegriot.com, the website, thegriot.com. In the summer of 2020, the Griot.com achieved its peak of over 10.5 monthly active users. The Griot.com is now one of the most visited news and entertainment sites for the African American community. Okay, see, so when you look at Byron Allen is low key. I may disagree with certain things he does or says or what have you, but Byron Allen is low key. Byron Allen ain't out, flossing and, blinging and all this stuff. He's low key, but he's buying up TV stations. He's building he's expanding his media empire. He bought the Griot.com from NBC Universal in 2016. Okay. Now, you hear stories like this. So let's give an example, right? Now, this is not attacking Cardi B. Okay. This ain't attacking her, but she recently bought Offset a Lamborghini. Then there was a story of her buying an $80,000, I think it was an $80,000 bag, a purse, something like that, right? This ain't attacking Cardi B. Now, I haven't heard any stories like that about Byron Allen. I have seen stories about Byron Allen buying TV stations. And these TV stations, he employs people. He's building a media empire. And actually, to be quite honest with you, I don't remember any. So there may have been a story about him buying a mansion to live in, or something, but whatever. But I don't remember hearing stories about buying a Lamborghini and this and that. But the stories I've heard about Byron Allen buying stuff, it's media. It's media. Okay. April Ryan, a Baltimore native and Morgan State University graduate, has served on the board of the prestigious White House Correspondents Association and is one of only 4 African Americans to do so in the association's 100-year history. She is also an esteemed member of the National Press Club. All right, so everybody check this out. You can read the rest of this here. So this is going to be huge. Okay, this is going to be huge. And one of the reasons why it's so important to have successful African-American owned businesses, not just so we can employ our own people. That's you need that. You need African-American owned businesses who can advertise on African-American owned TV stations and radio stations, so they stay in existence, so they don't have to rely on advertising dollars from white businesses and white corporations. See, once I used to be in radio sales 20 years ago. Okay. And I used to call on a lot of African-American owned businesses, but these were smaller businesses, some startups. Some have been in business a long time, but one of the things that you find out is that, a lot of new businesses, storefront, African-American storefront, shoe stores, things like this. They would say, okay, well, we like what you're offering. We know we need to advertise. We'll advertise once we make some money. Okay, here's the deal. Most likely, if you're a new business and you don't advertise, it's going to be hard for you to make some money because people don't know that you exist. Now, this was before social media. This was before social media really took off. This is 20 years ago. This was like 1999, 2000. This was before. So you had MySpace, but this was before Facebook didn't exist. YouTube didn't exist. YouTube wasn't created till 2005. Google didn't exist. I don't think, let me see, Google, I think it was 95. Google came out, I think in 95, I think it was. But this is in the early, Twitter didn't exist, all that stuff. Okay. But even then, even with social media, if you don't have a large social media following, it's going to be really hard to really promote your business and really build it to a point where you can sustain yourself and pay your lease, pay the utilities, things like that. Okay. Yes, see, Google was founded in 1998. Okay, so Google, but nobody knew what the hell Google was back then, 99, really 2000. Google was founded September 4th, 1998 in California. Right. So, but this is something that I found out, especially with a lot of African-American owned businesses. A lot of our businesses are undercapitalized, starting out, et cetera. So they said, and you would hear this repeatedly, we like what we like what you're offering. We want to advertise on the radio station. Once we make some money, then we'll advertise. So what that means is you ain't have a marketing budget when you open your business. Because I used to help people write business plans. My degree is in business administration. I used to teach entrepreneurship. I started teaching entrepreneurship after I left the radio station. A few years later, I went to work for one of my former college professors from Wayne State's business school, and he had a business consulting company. He had a few companies. One of them was a business consulting company, and one of the things we did was we did educational consulting. And we taught entrepreneurship through a local community college and also through the United Way. So I help people write business plans. I help people get funding, grants for their small businesses. So if you're saying that, okay, we're going to advertise once we make some money, that means you ain't have a marketing plan, because that should be part of your marketing plan. And that's part of your overall business plan. You have to have successful African-American owned businesses so they can advertise on something like Griot TV so it stays in existence, and you don't have to have a whole lot of commercials for McDonald's and Burger King and Coca-Cola, because there was an article from AtlantaBlackStar.com a few years ago, and so I have a background in marketing. It dealt with how African-American oriented TV shows have a much higher proliferation of ads that promote high calorie foods to us and foods with a high sugar content. This then is also related to heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, because of what's being advertised to us from the TV shows during the TV shows that we watch. Well, if you have more successful African-American owned businesses that are not promoting things like that, you can change the messaging that also we get when we watch a Griot TV, when we watch the commercials. Okay, so check out this article from thegriot.com. All right, so we dealt with that also. How's everybody doing? Okay, everybody share this broadcast on your social media platforms. Invite your friends to tune in also. You can be sure to visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. All of my DVD lectures are there. We're shipping out orders this week. We have digital downloads there as well. A lot of my lectures are done. If you like this type of information, you can donate to the African History Network, $ the AHN Show through Cash App, $ the AHN Show through Cash App, then also through PayPal, paypal.me /the AHN Show, paypal.me /the AHN Show. Then also at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com as well. Okay. And that helps us keep doing the research and stay on the air. African-American business owners, post name your business here on the thread of the broadcast. Email us at customerservice@AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, customerservice@AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. We'll let you know how you can advertise with the African History Network. We rebroadcast these shows on our social media platforms throughout the day. We put your video commercial in the rebroadcast of the shows, and we can create a video commercial for you at no additional charge. And then also in our audio podcast platforms, we're on 9 different audio podcast platforms. We're on iHeartRadio, Stitcher, TuneIn, FM Player, iTunes. So wherever you get your audio podcast from, search for the African History Network show. Okay. And so when people listen to the audio podcast of our shows, they'll hear your commercial as well. All right. So we're going to post this information here, and email us at customer service at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Let me see here. All right, and we have a new advertiser here, Soul Natural Beauty Products. Now, Soul Natural Beauty Products offers organic, plant-based skin and hair products that will rejuvenate and naturally grow and thicken hair. Their whipped shea butter can heal or restore damaged skin cells to prevent hyperpigmentation and skin breakouts. All products are made with organic, plant-based ingredients. Their maximum hair growth oil is fortified with organic herbal and extracts, and undeniably proves that Mother Nature knows best. It thickens, lengthens, softens, and conditions all types of hair. They even guarantee hair improvement within 90 days or a full refund. Their all-natural 24-hour deodorant leaves the body smelling fresh without sweating for up to 24 hours. It does not stain fabric, goes on smoothly, and has a refreshing lavender and frankincense aroma. It can be used by men, women, and even children. Visit their website, soulnaturalbeautyproducts.com, soul, S-O-U-L, soulnaturalbeautyproducts.com, and follow them on Facebook at Soul Natural Beauty Products. All right, let's continue here. So I saw this article from postingcourier.com. I think they're out of South Carolina. This deals with a documentary about a successful African-American businessman named Anthony Crawford. Now, I've heard about Anthony Crawford in the past. I've read about him in the past. And we posted this article. This got, I think, something like 2,000 likes or over 2,000 likes. New documentary on wealthy South Carolina black cotton farm owner who was lynched for success. New documentary on wealthy South Carolina black cotton farm owner who was lynched for success. So this is from November 17th, 2020, from the Posting Courier. Now, in 1916, just over a half a century after slavery was abolished, a wealthy African-American farmer who drew the ire of his jealous and bigoted white business peers in Abbeville was murdered by a lynch mob. Now, his name was Anthony Crawford. His name was Anthony Crawford. And Anthony Crawford owned a 427-acre cotton farm. Okay. He owned a 427-acre cotton farm in Abbeville, South Carolina. He was one of many successful African-American farmers in the South at the time who had turned the trade their families were once forced to adopt at the benefit of white plantation owners into a viable business from which they could personally profit. Okay. So he owned a cotton farm, a 427-acre cotton farm, and was able to become wealthy from the skill set that African Americans used to make white people wealthy during slavery. Now, Anthony Crawford was also one of 4,743 people lynched in the United States between 1882 and 1968, whose stories may not be widely known. That story is now being told in a new documentary that's available for streaming. Now, the name of the documentary is called Crawford, The Man the South Forgot. Crawford, The Man the South Forgot. This is the latest in a series of related cross-platform content produced by Hobo Films that fits into an ongoing narrative of this Southern reckoning. Now, it's just one story brought to light amid a Southern reckoning that has finally begun to acknowledge its dark history of Black lynchings and murders. Confederate monuments were toppled in the latter half of the decade as citizens of all races sought reparative justice for a lopsided historical representation. And when the National Memorial for Peace and Justice opened in Montgomery, Alabama in 2018, it was the first memorial dedicated to the legacy of enslaved African Americans, with a focus on contemporary presumptions of guilt, a focus on contemporary presumptions of guilt and police violence as repercussions of slavery, lynchings, and Jim Crow segregation. Now, this documentary follows one of Anthony Crawford's descendants. Her name is Doria D Johnson. Doria D Johnson. And it follows her in her quest to unearth and disseminate the real history and legacy of her great-great-grandfather. Doria D Johnson, who passed away in the year 2018, is the lead figure in the documentary's footage that dates back to the early 2000s, when the Illinois resident's journey took her to Abbeville. Now, there she searched the historic archives, met family members she never knew she had, and discovered a history that both incited a deep sense of pride for what her ancestor, Anthony Crawford, accomplished, and anger for what he and his descendants lost. Not only was it his life, but what should have been his family's inheritance for generations to come. Not only was it his life that he lost, but they also lost the family's inheritance for generations to come. Quote, now, Hobo Films founder Howard Bowler, B-O-W-L-E-R, said racial violence in America is pervasive and well documented. Yet the importance of land as a motive, has not been fully examined or exposed. If you want to understand the history of land stolen from African Americans following the lynching, follow the lynching trail. If you want to understand the history of land stolen from Black Americans, follow the lynching trail. They are inexorably and tragically linked, end quote. Now, in Anthony Crawford's case, his family was ordered to vacate the 427-acre cotton farm they owned, ceased their profitable business, and flee town following his murder by a mob of bloodthirsty white people who were jealous of his success as a competing Black business owner. His quote-unquote crime, for which he was dragged through the streets, lynched, and then shot as he hung already dead from a tree, was cursing a white man for offering him a low price for the cotton seed he was trying to sell. He cursed at a white man who tried to offer him a low price for the cotton seed Anthony Crawford was trying to sell. For this, he was lynched. He was beaten, shot, and lynched. Though Anthony Crawford's children legally inherited the land, they feared living on the property and later lost it when they could not pay off a small bank loan. A lot of current economic disparities between the wealthy and people of color in America tie back to what happened in the early 1900s, the documentary's editor, Tiffany Jackman, suggested. Quote, it's about wealth being stolen from people and that wealth not being able to trickle down through the generations, Tiffany Jackman said. Quote, and that ties into a lot that's going on today. You can still see the difference between predominantly white neighborhoods and Black neighborhoods as far as education and resources, end quote. Okay. So check out the rest of this article here from Post and Courier.com. This deals with a new documentary about Anthony Crawford and the lynching of Anthony Crawford. The name of the documentary is Crawford, the Man the South Forgot. Crawford, the Man the South Forgot. Name of this article, new documentary on wealthy South Carolina, or new documentary on wealthy SC Black cotton farm owner who was lynched for success. This is from November 17th, 2020 by Kaylin Coyer, Koyer. Then the Zen Education Project, ZINN, Zen Education Project, zenedproject.org, has an entry, October 21st, 1916, African-American landowner Anthony Crawford lynched. And it tells the story of Anthony Crawford also. October 21st, 1916, African-American landowner Anthony Crawford lynched. Okay, so check that out as well. Washington Post had a piece today. We talked about this statistic a couple months ago. Nearly 8 million Americans have fallen into poverty since the summer. The U.S. poverty rate has surged over the past 5 months, with 7.8 million Americans falling into poverty, the latest indication of how deeply many are struggling after government aid dwindled. The poverty rate jumped to 11.7% in November 2020, up 2.4 percentage points since June 2020, according to new data released on Wednesday, December 16th, 2020, by researchers at the University of Chicago and the University of Notre Dame. While overall poverty levels are low by historical standards, the increase in poverty this year has been swift. It is the biggest jump in a single year since the government began tracking poverty 60 years ago. Okay. The increase in poverty this year has been swift. It is the biggest jump in a single year since the government began tracking poverty 60 years ago. It is nearly double the next largest rise, which occurred in 1979 to 1980 during the oil crisis, according to James X. Sullivan, a professor at Notre Dame University, and Bruce D. Meyer, a professor at the University of Chicago's Harris School of Policy. The economists say the sharp rise in poverty is occurring for two reasons. Millions of people cannot find jobs, and government aid for the unemployed has declined sharply since the summer. The average unemployment payment was more than $900 a week from late March through the end of July. Okay, the average unemployment payment was more than $900 a week from late March through the end of July, but it fell to about $300 a week in August 2020, making it harder for the unemployed to pay their bills. So there was, hey, Ife, how you doing? And how you doing, Toya and Carrington? So there was the $600 a week in federal unemployment insurance. $600 a week in federal unemployment insurance, in addition to what you were getting from the state. That expired July 31st, 2020. So for a lot of people, that was $2,400 people who were getting unemployment insurance. That was $2,400 less in their budget each month. Okay. This is why Democrats in the House of Representatives in May 2020 passed the $3.4 trillion HEROES Act that had that would extend the federal unemployment insurance, $600 a week, had the stimulus checks in it, all that. They passed it in May 2020 in the House of Representatives so that it would then go to the Senate, and the Senate could pass a bill, or the Senate and the House could come to some agreement before July 31st, 2020, before the $600 a week expired. But because of Moscow Mitch McConnell and Republicans in the Senate, that's not what happened. And McConnell let the Senate go on recess for a month during the summer without having passed a coronavirus bill, another coronavirus bill. So now we're seeing the consequences of that. And come January 2021, we could be looking at a massive number of evictions and foreclosures also. Okay, so check out the rest of this article here from Washington Post. Nearly 8 million Americans have fallen into poverty since the summer. This is by Heather Long. Heather Long writes some good articles from the Washington Post. I've read a lot of her articles. She may not understand. She don't really understand African-American history and disparities. She'll understand statistics, but not necessarily trends, so to speak. But she does write some good articles. Lastly, when we look at the coronavirus update, we see 3,400 died on Wednesday, December 16th, 2020, 3,400 dead. That's a record number. When we look at the COVID tracking project, 113,000 hospitalized. That's a record also. And then 230,728 new cases on Wednesday, December 16th, 2020. So we're looking at 200,000 more new cases basically a day. So this is, as I've been saying, this is getting worse. More healthcare workers get COVID vaccine as cases, deaths continue to soar. Also, California set more records for COVID infections and deaths, recording more than 32,000 cases and 295 deaths on Tuesday. It was the seventh straight daily death record. It was the seventh straight daily death record for California. But Midwest states began to see lower COVID-19 infection rates, including Iowa, Michigan, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. Check out the updates from the live updates from NBC News. They have some really good live updates. Also, the ones from the Washington Post as well. Okay, we'll talk about this some more on our show tomorrow. And out of Georgia, I saw this article right before coming on the air. Forbes.com has a good article. We'll probably talk about it tomorrow. Over 100,000 people who did not vote in presidential election have requested ballots for Georgia Senate runoffs. Okay, the Georgia Senate runoff races, that's January 5th. Early voting started, has already started. Early voting started Monday. Okay, over 100,000 people who didn't vote in presidential election have requested ballots for Georgia Senate runoffs. We'll talk about that tomorrow. All right, look, if you like this type of information, you can donate to the African History Network. $ the AHN Show through Cash App. $ the AHN Show through Cash App, and also through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN Show, paypal.me/the AHN Show. Also at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. We're here Monday through Friday, 11 p.m. to 12 midnight Eastern Standard Time. We usually go over, and we're on 9:10 a.m. the Superstation WFDF here in Detroit, radio here in Detroit, and we usually go past the hour. We keep going on our social media platforms because I control that. And then we're still on Sundays, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on 9:10 a.m. the Superstation WFDF here in Detroit also. Okay. All right. So $ the AHN Show through Cash App and PayPal.me/the AHN Show, and at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. All of my DVD lectures are there, digital downloads, articles that I've written. You can read at our website. And we have a recommended reading list of about 70 books. Okay. All right, we have to get out of here. Remember, at the African History Network, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world, because right now it's correct wrong behavior is not over till we win. Wakanda forever. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Peace.